Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, my lecture is more about rest and motion. In a previous lecture, we have defined what is rest and what is motion. Today, I will discuss more concept about rest and motion. That rest and motion are relative terms, not absolute terms. For describing, for explaining this, I will first define some terminologies, some specific terms such as what is position, what is reference, and also what is observer. So first of all, what is position of an object? If we define rest in motion, any object, if we define the state of an object, then we would define first its position, because in defining rest in motion, we already said that rest and motion are defined that if there is a change in position of an object, then it would be motion. If there is no change in position of an object, then it is called rest. So the change in position, so if you are defining the position that the position is changing or not changing, you have to fix a reference for that. So the position of an object require reference, that you have to fix a reference first, then you can define the position of an object. So for the state of an object, means the body is at rest or motion, you have to define an observer. With what observer this object could be rest or motion. So for defining rest and motion, we would also fix an observer that for example, in accordance to that observer, it is at rest, its position doesn't change. For example, at that observer, its position is changing, so it is in motion. Same body could be at rest or motion, both depend upon chooser observer. If we are defining different observer for the same body at the same time, that the body could be at rest or in motion, or could be both rest and motion. It depends upon the chosen observer. The effect of two different observers, it means that if you are choosing two different observers, it would give you different results. One observer will observe the body at different angle, and the second observer would observe it at different angle, so they will give different result. You can't take them both results is the final. So you would specify that according to that observer, the body is at rest, the body doesn't change its position, and according to that observer, it changes position. So rest and motion are relative terms, not absolute terms. Means relative means they depend upon the observer. At what observer you are defining the rest and motion terms. So rest and motion are relative term, not absolute. Absolute means it doesn't depend upon any parameters. For explaining more, I would give you two examples to explain the above statement that rest and motion are relative. For example, Rashid is traveling in a train to Peshawar. He is going to Peshawar in a train. Okay. There is another passenger with him in a train, and also another person, a third person is it platform. I would choose observer 1 is the person with Rashid in a train, and observer 2 is the person at platform. So let us discuss what observer 1 will observe and observer 2 will observe. First, observer 1. Observer 1 is in a train with Rashid. He is observing that Rashid doesn't change its position with respect to him. So the Rashid is at rest with respect to the first observer. Okay, the second observer at platform, he observed that Rashid changed its position. Is train going to Peshawar and that direction? So Rashid will change its position with respect to the observer at platform. So he would give you the observation that Rashid is in motion. So observer 2 gave you the result, the observation that Rashid is in motion, and observer 1 said that Rashid is in rest. So Rashid could have rest, could state of motion, depend upon the observer, which observer you have chosen. So these terms depend upon the observer. That's why we call you that rest and motion are relative, not absolute terms. So come to the next example to explain more about the above statement. For example, Khalid is in bus. His friend Amir come with him to see of him. He is in platform. Amir is in platform, and Khalid in bus. Okay. If we have chosen that observer 1 is Khalid and observer 2 is Amir. Okay. Khalid observed that Amir, if bus going in that direction, then Khalid will observe that Amir is going in that direction. He is thinking, he is observing that. Observation would not be correct. Khalid, when bus going in that direction, Khalid would observe that Amir is going in that direction. And according to the observer, Amir, if bus is going in that direction, then he observed that Khalid is going in that direction. Khalid changed its position in that direction. So, according to the different observer, the result is different. So these are depend upon the reference you have chosen, the observer you have chosen. That's why we called it that rest in motion are relative terms, not absolute term. Okay. Your homework is you have to think about only one example that explain that rest in motion are a relative term, not absolute term. You have to write down that example and also explain it, and inshallah I will check it. Okay, thank you.